And it is my honor to welcome everybody here to downtown Fitchburg to 347 Main Street, which is one of our the most close construction that we have going by one of our most excited and interested and committed developers, Paul Tossi and Tossi Group. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It is my pleasure to welcome you here to this exciting housing announcement that we have in downtown Fitchburg. And I was told that the governor and the governor's administration, they insisted that Fitchburg be the place that we have this announcement, because we have such exciting investment that's happening here in Fitchburg, and having that kind of catalyst for growth is happening, right? So the more investment that we have and we close those funding gaps thanks to the state and through private investment, we're making it happen here in Fitchburg, thanks to trying to break down the barriers of permitting process and friendly, encouraging development. So we have a map where we're talking about, right, the overall housing strategy for the downtown. Right now we've got 140 units that have been recently completed here in the downtown, and we have, including in progress, ready to go, and a potential for housing. We have over 599 units as a potential housing right here in the downtown. So as we are one of the 26 gateway cities, you know, we're an old industrial center. We have these old historic buildings. This is from 1877, this building that we're standing in. And so as you can imagine, it's very expensive to rehabilitate. So closing those funding gaps is really crucial to make this construction and make these, make these housing units and commercial availability happen. So we thank the state and all of our funding partners to help close these gaps and make it happen. So thank you, everyone, and it is my honor and privilege to announce Governor Healey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Spaglia. It's amazing. Your vision for Fitchburg, your revitalization of a main street, and really, particularly because this is the entranceway into this great city, is really, really exciting. So when we were thinking about places to visit, it's true, the Lieutenant Governor and I and Secretary Augustus went through a list, and a lot of great places doing a lot of great work. We thought we'd show off the great work that Fitchburg is doing, because it's so much a part of what we're trying to do as an administration, which is to build more housing, to lower housing costs, to bring that housing online as quickly as possible, to also find ways to support small businesses. And that's what's exciting, the way that Paul and his team and others around the state are thinking about combining the housing with the retail, and finally doing it next to, hope everyone's okay. No, I mean it, yeah. Doing it next to a transportation hub, right? It checks all the boxes, so really, really exciting. I am thrilled to be here today, not only alongside our fabulous Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, who was a longtime mayor of the gateway city of Salem and did incredible things, such a champion for our local communities. Also to be here alongside our Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities, Ed Augustus. He and his team are working hard to get homes built all around the state. Members of our legislature, whose partnership makes all of this possible, including working with us as we filed that major housing bill a couple of years ago. So I want to thank Senator Cronin and Rep. Kushmarek for their work on this and so much more. And of course, our fantastic voice in Washington, D.C., Congresswoman Lori Trahan, who's just been doing amazing things for not just her district, but for all of Massachusetts. So it's great to be with you. Thank you also to all the developers who are here, developers of new housing, who were hard at work all around this great state. We have some residents and soon-to-be residents, hopefully, of some of these units. Really, really exciting. So let me tell you what we're here to announce today. We're here today to announce the award of $18 million in tax credits to unlock new homes in cities all across Massachusetts. This is through our Housing Development Incentive, or HDIP program. Here's what this means. This fiscal year, we've awarded $57 million for new housing in gateway cities through these HDIP tax credits. And best of all, we've gotten more than, well, close to 1,300 new homes into production. That's a 600% increase that blows away all previous records. It's a really exciting amount of progress, and we get to see it firsthand right here in Fitchburg. We just had an opportunity to tour one project that is underway, another project that's completed, and to look up and see other projects that we hope to have online in the next couple of years. It's adding vibrancy to this wonderful Main Street, of course, and it's creating more homes for more residents to come to Fitchburg. This new round of funding, so another $18 million that we're announcing today, it's going out to developers and projects who are supporting similar investments in places like Holyoke, Salem, Lowell, Worcester, Hyannis, and beyond. To all the developers, for all the projects, all the awardees of HDIP, thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you for the work that you're going to do. We're going to continue to work on and build on this progress. As part of our tax cut package, we permanently tripled the cap on HDIP to keep it at a higher rate of production. We also doubled the senior tax credit this year for housing. It's now up to $2,700 per eligible senior. We increased the low-income housing tax credit by 50%, which has also begun to unlock homes statewide. And in the last year, we have released the state's first ever comprehensive housing plan, a roadmap to meeting the housing needs of every region in our state. We created the first ever full inventory of state-owned land that can be used to create more housing opportunities. We've seen 119 communities buy into the MBTA Communities Act, which has already brought 4,000 new homes into production so far. And we're implementing the $5 billion Affordable Homes Act, getting resources out across the state to build reasonably priced homes. We're not slowing down. We know that housing costs are the greatest challenge that residents of Massachusetts face. It's why we've made it a priority and why we're going to focus every day on ways that we can speed up housing production all across Massachusetts. I again want to thank our legislators, our local officials, our developers for their partnership and their vision. We're also joined today by President Hodge of Fitchburg State University, a great example of a wonderful academic institution here that needs to house both its students and its faculty. And all of this works together. I know this is going to be a bar arcade, and some of those faculty and students will be enjoying that, no doubt, in time to come. And legislators. All right, you heard it here. So look, this is all about teamwork, Team Massachusetts. We've preached that for a long, long time. And I really want to thank everybody for your continued effort in making our state really, really go and shine. And now I'd like to welcome up a great friend of our administration, a terrific champion for Massachusetts and Massachusetts families, Congresswoman Lori Trahan.
Well, thank you, Governor Healey. I mean, as I was sitting back listening to the governor's comments, and there just being a dearth of good news coming out of Washington these days, every line deserved applause just because of the commitment that this administration has shown to working families across the state. It is such an honor to stand alongside the governor and lieutenant governor who are tireless champions, who are working every day to make sure that Massachusetts is more affordable for working families. Their leadership is helping to ensure that more people can live, work, and raise a family here in Massachusetts. And I'm thrilled to be back in Fitchburg to celebrate the critical investments through the Housing Development Incentive Program. This program is a game changer for gateway cities like this one. It brings targeted state support to projects that create much-needed market-rate housing, drives economic growth, diversifies our housing stock, and breathes new life into our downtowns and our neighborhoods. We all know the housing crisis is one of the greatest challenges facing working families across our country, and that's especially true here in Massachusetts. And that's why it's so important for government at every level to be a partner in creating more housing, not an obstacle to it. I really have to tip my hat to all the people who are standing behind me. I've never seen a commitment to this Main Street as I have 6 short years that I've been in Congress, and it really does take a whole of government approach. That's not what we're seeing out of Washington right now. Look, the Trump administration is pushing to gut housing assistance programs and slash the Department of Housing and Urban Development. These are dangerous, short-sighted decisions that take us exactly in the wrong direction. We should be investing more in programs like HDIP, not less, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. It's exactly why Massachusetts is the premier state to live. So thanks to the leadership of Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Secretary Augustus, Massachusetts is charting a better course and creating a better future, one that lifts up our cities, empowers our communities, and delivers real results for working families. I want to give a special thank you to Mayor Sam Squalia. Her energy, her vision, and commitment to Fitchburg are the driving forces behind so much of the progress that we're celebrating today. And she picks up that phone when she feels economic development or housing creation is hitting a lull. She's the first person to call all of us and say, hey, we need to keep this momentum going. I want to thank all of you for being here, continuing to push for smart housing solution. It is now my pleasure to turn it over to the person who makes it all happen, our Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities, Ed Augustus.
Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you for your leadership in Washington. It's so critical today to have your voice representing our values in Washington. I want to thank my bosses, the governor and lieutenant governor, for making housing a priority in Massachusetts and literally scanning across state government to use every lever possible to create more housing and to do it with a sense of urgency that the crisis demands. Their leadership, their passion, their vision are really what drives our work day in and day out. Mayor Squalia, I want to thank you for your vision and leadership here in Fitchburg. We appreciate the partnership with you and Senator Cronin and Rep. Kusmarek. I think I've been on 4 tours of downtown Fitchburg. I've seen literally the inside of every building in downtown Fitchburg. So your passion, your on-the-ground kind of advocacy really makes a difference, and we appreciate all that you do and your partnership in the legislature. I do want to call out somebody who needs no introduction in this room, but Undersecretary Kate Racer, who really is the mastermind of all things housing production here in Massachusetts, her and her team for the amazing work they do day in and day out. So, Kate, thank you. I'm proud to be here in Fitchburg today to announce these awards through the HDIP program. This is a fantastic program, specifically geared towards supporting housing in our gateway communities. For much of our history, these cities have been vital hubs of our regional economies. They are places where you could find work and live the American dream. Today, they remain central hubs of industry and culture, but they also represent a key opportunity in addressing our housing needs. And to do so, they require a unique set of tools. The HDIP program is one of those tools. It allows these cities to put housing where they need it the most, to target areas where market rate housing is needed, and in some cases, to bring back entire blocks or neighborhoods, like what is happening here in downtown Fitchburg. When Governor Healey signed the major tax cut bill in October of 2023, she strategically authorized a substantial increase in the HDIP program. She increased the program, as she mentioned, from $10 million to $30 million annually with a one-time boost of $57 million, knowing there was a huge backlog of projects needing that important tool. Because this administration understands the importance of boosting housing production in our gateway cities. Combined with the Affordable Homes Act, the MBTA Communities Law, and our first comprehensive statewide housing plan, we're jump-starting housing production across Massachusetts. As a former city manager of a gateway city, I've seen firsthand the transformative impact of this program. I've seen it bring back market rate development in key areas in our city of Worcester and areas that would simply not have been invested in without this program. Today's investment of $18 million in HDIP awards will create 288 new units in 6 gateway cities across the state. Our state depends on economic success of our gateway cities and our ability to have housing for everyone. Housing for our workforce, housing for our young people just starting out, housing for our families, and housing for our seniors moving into retirement. Today, we take another big step toward making that dream a reality. So I want to congratulate today's awardees, Prime Real Estate Investment for creating 16 units here in Fitchburg, P-Props Development for 8 units here in Fitchburg, C. Elliott Developers, 14 units in Holyoke, Calhoun Commons developer Jack Dewey for 8 units in Hyannis, Spartan Cleaners Realty, which will create 46 units in Hyannis, the Mass Mills Boiler Building in Lowell by Mullins Company with 65 units and another 30 units in the Mass Mills Main Power Building, the Emery by developer Heritage Properties with 36 units in Lowell, 38 Norman in Salem, and One Exchange in Worcester by CMK Development Partners, which will create another 44 units. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you for your work. It's now my pleasure to introduce Paul Tossi, who really is the person responsible for so many of those signs up and down Main Street with coming soon, beautiful new apartments. He's got a real vision and a passion for remaking this downtown. Paul?
Good morning. My name is Paul Tossi. I'm the CEO of the Tossi Group. I just want to start by saying from the bottom of my heart, Governor Healey, thank you so much. Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Secretary Augustus. We are standing in a case study right now that your housing initiatives are working. They really are. And this building is 150 years old and could have never been restored without the programs that were put into place by this administration. I started calling my former company commander from the Corps of Engineers, Captain Alex Dillon. I still call him sir, believe it or not. I know my place. And we're standing here because of his ability to rebuild on a 150-year-old building. Steel beams, we had to remove every single floor joist here. A project like this could never have been possible without the HDIP program and the housing initiatives that are here. And so we're bringing 8 market rate housing units on the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor, and also a retro arcade bar here to the ground level. About 20 years ago, my father and I were working on the outskirts of Fitchburg in small 2- and 3-unit developments, dreaming of coming to the main street and having a chance to restore these beautiful historical buildings. But the costs were just too great. The construction challenges too advanced. I went and worked for Captain Dillon, and he was on his 2nd career. He was a superintendent with 15 years of construction management experience, working on projects like the Caesars Palace extension, the Paris Hotel and Casino, the Red Rock Casino. He had quite a track record, and he joined the Corps after all of that. And when these programs were put into place, he actually moved across the country with my other partner, Jake Zapata, our COO, from Charlotte and from Georgia to come here to work 6 days a week for this administration to restore these historical buildings. If it wasn't for the HDIP program and the Housing Works and all the different initiatives that are here, Community One Stop, this would never happen. But I also want to say a really special thank you to Mass Development and to Rob Anderson and Dottie Fulginetti who are here. I just want to say thank you so much because this building was also made possible by Mass Development. And those are the kinds of partnerships that are happening underneath the governor's leadership. We're all rowing the boat in the exact same direction right now, working together on these projects. And they're coming to life, and momentum's here. One of the last things I want to say, and it's super important, is we have one of the greatest mayors in the history of the city of Fitchburg, and we mean that right now. I mean,
That's all the mayors.
very few had a structural engineering background before they came and took the helm. And we're rebuilding Fitchburg's Main Street, right? And you can see it all the way down. But it's community planning working together with the mayor. It's the Fitchburg Redevelopment Authority and Megan Donahue's leadership and Liz Murphy, all partnering together with the state and local agencies. And so I'd invite everybody on their way out the door. We have some pamphlets there in the corner of the table. It lays out our team's plan for 100 market rate housing units going down the Main Street and following Secretary Augustus's playbook in Worcester. One building at a time, roll up your sleeves, restore these historical beauties, bring a thriving business to the Main Street, and bring great market rate housing units that are brand new infrastructure to the upper floors. And you'll see a momentum that's never been seen before in the city because of this administration. So we look forward to bringing you many more projects over the next few years. And please, if you can, grab one of these on the way out the door. And looking forward to working closely. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Looks like next on our list, we have Zachary Boss and Maddie up to speak. We have their Main Street, not only Main Street business owners, soon to be, but they are Main Street residents.
Yes, thank you. You want to start? I can start.
Thanks so much for having us. Living in Fitchburg right now is a very exciting place. Since we have moved here, there have been several new businesses pop up around us, and there's really wonderful energy. I think there have been a couple of coffee shops and several art galleries. And it's just a wonderful place to be, young working professionals. And we hope that there will be more people like us that will fall in love with Fitchburg like we did.
All of our friends want to follow in our steps. When I was looking around for a place to put down roots, I could have taken my life savings and gotten a house someplace and continued to commute to Boston. But the opportunity to live downtown, right where I work, right above the restaurant where I go all too often for cocktails at night, it's unbelievable. The opportunity to interact with property owners and business owners is like nothing I could imagine in most other cities in the Commonwealth right now. It's a very exciting time to be a property owner, business owner, renter in market rate apartments, and community member in Fitchburg. So thank you to the leadership shown here. We couldn't have this without them.
Yes.
Well, great, and Zach and Madeline, we wish you continued success, and that's exactly the story that we want to be telling and what we want people to see. I mean, this stuff is real, and so, Paul, thank you for your words and, noting, policy matters, and leadership matters, and I thank everybody up here for all their work to get done what hadn't been done before, a statewide plan for housing, making housing the #1 issue for our state and what we need to do, filing, working together, passing, signing the $5 billion transformative Housing Act that we did, and now it's all about implementation, getting that money out the door, including to great projects like the ones we had the benefit of seeing earlier today. So thank you, and to all the developers out there, know that our team will do whatever we can in our power to more speedily bring these things online, to work with our local officials, to work with our outstanding members of our federal delegation in ways they're able to support to get this done. Massachusetts is a great state. #1 for education, healthcare, innovation. We were rated recently the best state to have a baby in, the best state to live if you're a woman, best state to be a working mom or dad. We have our challenges, though, and probably top of the list is housing. But we're tackling it, and we're making headway. We did that report just a little while ago, the study that showed we should have been building housing for years, and we just weren't for whatever reason. But we're about changing that. And already, we have the thermometer going about how many units we need to make to get to the goal of 220,000 over the next 10 years. And we're making progress every single day, thanks in no small part to the work and ingenuity of so many of you in the room. So thank you for that. We're happy to take on-topic questions. If there aren't any, I hope everybody who's here visiting Fitchburg for the day, go across. Caesar's got a great taco place right next door. There are lots of great businesses up and down Main Street, so I know we're going to patronize them today. I hope others do as well, and we look forward to returning and seeing a lot of happy people housed here in Fitchburg. Again, thank you, Mayor Squalia, for your incredible leadership and showing us what's possible here in the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
You're welcome anytime.
Great.